You're curled up on the bathroom floor at work, heart pounding like a drum in your chest, sweat soaking through your shirt, convinced you're about to die. And when you finally drag yourself out, your so-called best friend rolls her eyes and says, "Just snap out of it, it's all in your head." Fast forward a few years, that same friend is knocking on my door, desperate for help, while I've turned my invisible battles into a visible empire. If you've ever felt crushed by anxiety and dreamed of rising above those who dismissed you, stick around. This is my story, and trust me, the payback is sweeter than you can imagine. Hello everyone, my name is Sarah. I'm 28 years old, living in Seattle, Washington, and I work as a mental health advocate and entrepreneur now. But it wasn't always like this. Today, I want to share a very personal story from my life, one that's raw, real, and honestly, a bit heartbreaking at times. This is my true journey through the darkness of anxiety and depression, and how I clawed my way out to not just survive, but thrive. If you've ever felt invisible in your own pain or longed for that moment when justice finally knocks, hit that like button right now, subscribe for more stories that hit close to home, and let's dive in. You might just find a piece of yourself in here. Let me take you back to when I was 24. On the surface, everything looked perfect. I had a steady job as a marketing coordinator at a mid-sized tech firm in downtown Seattle. Think sleek offices with glass walls, free coffee that tasted like ambition, and team happy hours where everyone pretended to be besties. My grades in college had been stellar. I'd graduated with honors in communications, and people always complimented my bright smile and positive vibe. But inside, inside I was a storm that never stopped raging. It started small, or at least that's how I remember it. I'd always been a worrier as a kid, fretting over tests, over friendships, over whether I said the right thing in a conversation. But by my early 20s, it had morphed into something monstrous. Anxiety attacks would hit me out of nowhere. Picture this. I'm on a crowded bus during rush hour, the kind where bodies are pressed together like sardines, the air thick with exhaust and cheap perfume. Suddenly, my chest tightens like a vice grip. My heart races, thump, 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 faster than I can count. My vision blurs at the edges, and I feel this overwhelming certainty that I'm having a heart attack. I gasp for air, clutching the pole, while strangers stare or shuffle away. "Breathe, Sarah, just breathe," I'd whisper to myself in my head, but the voice sounded distant, like it was coming from underwater. I'd stumble off at the next stop, find a bench, and sit there shaking until it passed, tears streaming down my face. And then, I'd wipe them away, plaster on that smile, and pretend nothing happened. Depression was the silent partner to all this. It wasn't the dramatic kind you see in movies, no lying in bed for days staring at the ceiling. No, mine was sneaky. It whispered lies in my ear. "You're worthless. No one really cares. Why even try?" I'd force myself through the day, laughing at jokes that weren't funny, nodding along in meetings while my mind screamed for escape. At night, alone in my tiny apartment with its peeling wallpaper and the hum of the fridge as my only company, I'd curl up under the blankets, feeling this heavy, leaden weight pressing down on my soul. Sleep? Forget it. My thoughts would spiral. What if I mess up that presentation tomorrow? What if everyone sees through me? What if I'm just broken? I hid it all so well. My closest friends, let's call them Mia and Jordan, thought I was the fun one. Mia was the outgoing type, always planning brunches and girls' nights, with her perfect Instagram feed full of filtered selfies and motivational quotes. Jordan was more laid back, but she had this sharp tongue that could cut you without trying. We'd been tight since college, sharing secrets over late-night tacos. But my secret? The big one? I kept that locked away. I didn't want to be that girl, the one who brings down the vibe, the one they pity. So, I'd nod and smile when Mia complained about her stressful week of yoga classes and dating drama. Inside, I'd think, if only you knew what real stress feels like, the kind that chokes you. But cracks started showing. One day at work, during a team meeting, it hit hard. My boss, Mr. Harlan, oh, where do I even start with him? He was in his late 40s, with a perpetual smirk, slicked back hair that screamed midlife crisis, and a voice that boomed like he owned the room, which he kinda did. He was the classic corporate bully, charming to the higher-ups, ruthless to us underlings. He'd make snide comments about deadlines, like, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen, while staring right at you. That day, I was presenting a campaign idea. Midway through, the anxiety slammed into me. My palms sweated, slippery on the clicker. My voice cracked. So the metrics show. Wait, sorry. The room went silent. Harlan leaned back in his chair, crossing his arms, that smirk widening. Sarah, if you're going to waste our time, at least pretend to be prepared. Laughter rippled from a few colleagues. I felt my face burn, hot as a branding iron. Inside, my mind raced. They're all judging you. You're failing. Run. I mumbled through the rest, then excused myself to the bathroom, where I slid down the stall wall, hyperventilating, tears mixing with the taste of Billa in my throat. When I confided in Mia and Jordan later that week, over coffee, my hands trembling around the mug, they didn't get it. Mia tilted her head, sipping her latte. Anxiety? Everyone gets stressed, Sarah. Just meditate or something. You're too young to be this dramatic. Jordan chuckled. Yeah, pull it together. It's probably just hormones. My cousin had the same thing. Turned out she needed more sleep. Their words landed like punches. I felt smaller, more alone. But it's not just stress, I tried to explain, my voice barely above a whisper. It's like, my body betrays me. They exchanged glances, the kind that say, she's overreacting. From then on, invites dwindled. Texts went unanswered. They started hanging out without me, posting pics online where I could see. The betrayal stung deep. These were my ride or dies, and they dismissed my pain like it was a bad mood. Work got worse. Harlan noticed my off days. One afternoon, after another attack left me late to a client call, he called me into his office. The room smelled of stale coffee and his overpowering cologne. He leaned over his desk, eyes narrowing. Sarah, what's your deal? You flake out, you space during meetings. If this is some millennial, mental health excuse, save it. Real professionals push through. I swallowed hard, fists clenched in my lap. It's anxiety, sir. I'm trying. He cut me off with a laugh, a harsh bark that echoed. Anxiety? That's what therapy's for, not my payroll. Shape up or ship out. That night, the depression hit rock bottom. I sat on my couch, staring at the wall, thinking, maybe he's right. Maybe I am weak. What's the point? The turning point came at 26. I couldn't hide anymore. A particularly bad attack on the bus left me in the doctors confirming it was panic, not a heart issue. Alone in that sterile room, beeping machines around me, I broke. I need help, I whispered to myself. The next day, I searched online, fingers flying over my keyboard in a frenzy, and found a therapist. Dr. Eleanor was kind, with soft eyes and a voice like warm honey. Our first session, I poured it all out. The attacks, the hiding, the friend's betrayal, Harlan's cruelty. She didn't judge. Sarah, this isn't weakness. It's a battle, and you're already fighting. Therapy wasn't magic, no overnight cure, but she gave me tools, breathing exercises, inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4. Journaling my thoughts to challenge the lies. Medication to steady the chemical storm in my brain. Slowly, I rebuilt, but as I got stronger, anger bubbled up. Anger at Mia and Jordan for abandoning me when I needed them most. Anger at Harlan for his ignorance and bullying. They think I'm broken, I'd think during sessions, pacing my apartment. I'll show 'em what broken looks like, when I rise from the ashes. That's when the plan formed. I quit the job, walked into Harlan's office, head high, and said, I'm done being your punching bag. His smirk faltered. You'll regret this. No one hires flakes. I smiled back, cold as ice. Watch me. I channeled my energy into something new. With my marketing skills and newfound clarity, I started a blog about mental health in the workplace. Raw posts. What it's really like to have a panic attack at your desk. It went viral, shares, comments from people saying, this is me. I turned it into a business. workshops for companies on supporting employee mental health. I networked furiously, LinkedIn messages, coffee meets with execs. My apartment became command central, laptop glowing late into the night, sticky notes everywhere with ideas. Fears still crept in. What if it fails? But I'd breathe through them. Journal, you've survived worse. This is your revenge. Word spread. Companies hired me. First small ones, then bigger. Revenue trickled, then poured. By 28, I'd incorporated Mindful Momentum, a consulting firm. We trained thousands, HR policies, stigma-busting seminars. And the best part? I poached talent from my old firm, including colleagues who'd seen Harlan's toxicity. Then came the climax. 2 years after quitting, I got the call. My old company was tanking. Bad management, hello, Harlan, lawsuits over toxic culture. They were up for sale. With investor backing, people who'd read my blog and believed in the mission, I made an offer. It went through. The day I walked into that glass-walled office as the new owner? Electric. Harlan was there, packing his desk, face pale as a ghost. He looked up, eyes widening. Sarah? What the? I stood tall, voice steady. Hello, Mr. Harlan. Or should I say, former boss? I'm the new owner. His mouth gaped like a fish. This is a joke. You? The girl who couldn't handle a meeting? I leaned in, smile sharp. That girl built this from the pain you caused. Anxiety isn't weakness, it's fuel. You're out, he sputtered, red-faced, grabbing his box and storming off, muttering curses. Relief washed over me, waves of it, cool and cleansing. Triumph burned in my chest. I did it. They were wrong. But wait, there's more. Mia and Jordan? They reached out months later. Mia's message. Hey, saw your success. Congrats. We should catch up. Life's been rough. Jordan. Miss our hangs. You okay now? I met him for coffee, same spot as before. They gushed. Your business is amazing. How'd you do it? I sipped my drink, calm. Remember when I told you about my anxiety? You laughed it off, ditched me. That hurt, but it pushed me here. Their faces fell, shock, guilt twisting their features. Mia stammered, we didn't know. Jordan looked away, cheeks flushing. Sorry, we were idiots. I nodded, apology accepted. But friendships? That's earned, like everything else. I left him there, bills paid, walking out with my head high. Their regret? It was palpable, hanging in the air like smoke. My emotional release hit later, alone, tears of validation, fists pumping the air. Justice, I thought. Finally, looking back, this journey taught me that anxiety and depression aren't enemies to defeat overnight, they're parts of us that need care. But when people weaponize your pain, karma has a way of circling back. If you're struggling, know this. Seeking help isn't weakness, it's the first step to your own empire. You're stronger than you think. Phew, that was intense, right? If my story fired you up or gave you those satisfying chills, smash that like button and drop a comment below. What's the most epic revenge or comeback you've seen, or lived? Did it involve mental health battles? Share it. You might inspire someone. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for more real-life tales of triumph over the odds. Thanks for listening to my heart today. Take care of yours. See you next time.